up as a separate video. Okay, FISA memo released. Here's what it says. Update. They just released the FISA memo accuses senior officials at the DOJ of inappropriately using biased opposition research into then candidate Trump to obtain surveillance warrants on transition team members as a part of a federal investigation into Trump-Russia campaign. According to documents, information from the so-called Steele dossier was essential to the accusations of surveillance warrants on Trump campaign aide Carter Page. It claims then Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe told the committee in December that without the information from the Steele dossier, which was fake, most of it mind you, no surveillance warrant for Page would have been sought. The memo alleges that the political origins of the dossier, paid for by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, DNC, were not disclosed to the contestant court and signed off on the warrant request. Holy shit. The documents claim that although the FBI had clear evidence the author of the dossier, former British spy Christopher Steele, was biased against Trump, it did not convey that to the surveillance court when making the warrants application. Steele told then Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce O'Hare that he was desperate that a Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president, the memo says. House conservatives have taught the memo's revelations as worse than Watergate, which I'm thinking it is true, and hinted that it could prove the undoing of the federal investigation into Trump campaign. Meanwhile, Democrats on the panel say that it's a cherry-picked set of inaccurate accusations designed to kneecap Special Counsel Robert Mueller. They have drafted their own counter memo, I'm sure you have, to rebut the Republican drafted document, but the majority voted against immediately making the document public earlier this week. The memo is based on a slew of high classified material provided to the committee by Justice Department itself in a closed-door deal brokered by Speaker Paul Ryan. He's a Republican, by the way. Naturally, the DOJ has claimed the release of the memo is an abrogation of the terms of the deal, and an assertion spokesman for both Ryans and Nunes have rejected. Meanwhile, the underlying evidence remains classified. The state of affairs that the Democrats and some national security analysts say make it impossible to independently verify the memo's conclusions. As The Hill reports earlier, ahead of the document's release, Paul Ryan privately urged House Republicans not to overplay the document and not to tear it to the Mueller investigation. So that's interesting. Here's a select excerpt from the FISA memo, full PDF below, and we will put a link to that. On the October 21st, 2016, DOJ and FBI sought and received a FISA probe cause order not under Title of 7, authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from the FISA. Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump president campaign. Consistent with the requirements under FISA, the application had to be first certified by the Deputy Director of the FBI, and then required the approval of the Attorney General, Deputy General, DAG. The Senate confirmed Assistant Attorney General of the National Security Division. The FBI DOJ obtained one initial FISA warrant targeting Carter Page and 3 FISA renewals from the FISA. Required by statute, a FISA ongoing an American citizen must be renewed every 90 days. Each renew requires a separate finding of the probe cause. Then Director James Comey signed 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI, and the Deputy Director Andrew McCabe signed one. Then DAG Sally Yates and Acting GAD Dana Buntold and DAG Rod Rosenstein each signed one or more FISA applications on behalf of the DOJ. Our findings indicate that the described below material and relevant information was omitted. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele, the Steele dossier, on behalf of the Democrat National Committee, DNC, and Hillary Clinton campaign formed an essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a long-time FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC and the Clinton campaign via the law firm Perkins, Cole and research firm FISA GPS to obtain derogatory information on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Holy shit, there is a lot of information here. Okay, so before we keep going, let's break that down. They did not disclose that the DNC had paid for the FISA, paid for the opposition research, was used against Trump and his cabinet and his officials. Thoughts and opinions?
Crazy. Did you think that this is what it was going to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just nice to see it in official terms, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much everything that we thought.
Yeah. Wow. That's actually an interesting thing to say as well. Is it was released right on the weekend, right on the beginning of it. So now it's just going to sit there and percolate all weekend. It's beautiful timing.
It's Friday here, so that's Thursday over there. So we've still got Friday yet.
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but this is awesome though. Like it confirms a lot of what everyone's been saying. It's what we needed.
We were called conspiracy theorists for talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who's the conspiracy theorist now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, mainstream media is.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day, this is everything that we suspected. We knew this is what was going on. We just now have proof of it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Okay, so what follows is some have dubbed the damning section. There was no reason not to disclose the relationship between Clinton and Steele unless the authors were worried about exposing a clear political link. Neither the initial application on October 2016 nor of any of the renewals disclosed or referenced the role of the DNC Clinton campaign or any party campaign in funding Steele's efforts, even though the political origins of the Steele dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. And B, the initial FISA application notes that Steele was working for a named US person but does not name Fusion GPS, and Principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by the US law firm Perkins Coie, represented the DNC, even though it was known by the DOJ at the time that the political actor was involved with the Steele dossier. The application does not mention Steele was immediately working on behalf of, paid by the DNC Clinton campaign, or that the FBI had separately authorized payment to Steele for the same information. This is everything that we already knew. This is what we knew. We're not surprised by this. It is good to have this obviously in writing and in black and white. But okay. People in the US take tomorrow off. They're not going to be on their own TVs. This is what the Q movement is about. Hey Eric, how are you, buddy? Have you heard? Trump just released the FISA. Holy shit. This could take down Democrats. This could take down Comey, McCabe, Letta Lynch. Could take them all down. But they're using documents.
You think so?
Well, yeah, they're using documents, and they're not telling the FISA court who has paid for this research. They're literally going into the FISA court saying, hey, we got some research on Donald Trump we want to look into. And they're not disclosing that it's come from his opposition. This is Watergate. This is what Nixon did in Watergate. Spying on your opposition. Spying on your opposition campaign. Like, this is bad, dude. This is really bad for the Democrats. The ball's in motion, yeah. And this is what William Barr is looking into. And I don't think it is a very big surprise that William Barr is looking into this and Trump drops the FISA warrant. I don't think that's weird at all. I think Trump is doing this deliberately because he's going after the deep state.
Well, if he's finally going to drain the swamp, that would be great, because I think that was one of his major election promises: drain the swamp. The economy, fixing up the trade deals, the war, draining the swamp. I mean, if he can get at least draining the swamp ball rolling, it'll help him for his re-election. That's for sure.
Yeah, and this also ties into Assange too.
Yeah, it does. And even some, even a couple of lefties over there in America on the TV have been admitting that he's actually the first president to come through with election promises.
Yeah, but the important thing that this, nice. But okay, so this is what I think, and this is what I was saying before. What if Assange gets extradited to America, right? The deep state says that we're going to lock you up for 170 odd years, 175 years, I think it was that we were talking about earlier, right? And then Trump and William Barr turn around and say to Assange, give us who gave you the DNC emails, and we will pardon you. Now, if it is who we think it is, if it is Seth Rich, which is who I honestly suspect it is, he's dead. What harm is going to come to him? Yeah, there are a few swamp creatures in there, that's for sure. Yeah, I agree with that checkpoint, yeah.
Swamp creatures.
Yeah. There are warmongers, deep state, that he is surrounded by. But yeah. But they're easily taken care of. At the moment, she is, yeah. Yeah, she is. Hillary is not... Okay, look. Hillary is corrupt, sure. But she's not the head of the Hydra. Let's face it. Comey is a higher prize than Hillary Clinton. Andrew McCabe is a higher prize. Clapper is a higher prize than Hillary Clinton.
The head of the Hydra is more than likely people we may have never even heard of, to be honest.
Yeah.
The deep state is very, very secret.
Oh, yeah. Eric says in chat, if that bastard wins, referring to 2016 presidential election, we'll be all hanging from nooses, supposedly from Hillary Rotten Clinton herself. And she, yeah, they will chuck her under the bus. She knows it. She can sit there and laugh as much as she wants on stage, but I bet you she is having some very restless nights. She knows that if he goes after the deep state, they will kick her to the curb. They will throw her into the launch chipper just to save themselves.
I believe it, absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
talking about Checkpoint, what Checkpoint said, or what, Hillary?
What he said there. Oh yeah. Do you,
No, let's not
is
touch
your
that.
you
Let's
want
not.
you want to
No,
fly that close to the sun, dude?
no, not today. But
Okay.
yeah, but also there's more of it yet. We haven't even got to the rest of it yet. The section above also makes good case for releasing the underlying FISA application, either as Clinton connection was disclosed or it wasn't. Not a fact either party can distort. In a curious twist, in order to collaborate the dossier, the memo reveals that the FBI extensively cited a news article that was based entirely on the dossier, in effect using the dossier to corroborate the dossier, which is what you and I have said before. They had the dossier, they wanted to corroborate it, they wanted to investigate it, so to use that evidence, they then went through and they leaked that dossier to Yahoo News, who then went through and wrote about it, and then they turned around and said, they're writing about this dossier, we have to look into this. It's circular investigation work, technically. The Carter Page FISA application also cited extensively September 23rd, 2016 Yahoo News, which I just said, article by Michael Kriskoff, who focuses on Page's July 2016 trip to Moscow. This article does not corroborate the Steele dossier because it is derived from information leaked by Steele himself to Yahoo News. The Page FISA application incorrectly asserts that Steele did not directly provide information to Yahoo News. Steele has admitted in British court filings that he met with Yahoo News and several other outlets in September 2016 at the direction of FISA GPS. Perkins Coyer was aware of Steele's initial media contact because they hosted at least one meeting in Washington, D.C. in 2016 with Steele and Fusion GPS where this matter was discussed. The memo continues to revealing more information about Steele and his clear political bias. So Steele was suspended and then terminated as an FBI source for what the FBI refines as the most serious of violations, unauthorized disclosure to the media of his relationship with the FBI in October 2016, Mother Jones article by David Korn. Steele's numerous encounters with the media violations and cardinal rule of source handling, maintaining confidentiality, and demonstrated that Steele became a less than reliable source for the FBI. 3. Before the Steele dossier determined as source, he maintained contact with DOJ via then Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce O'Hare, a senior DOJ official who worked closely with Deputy Attorney General Yates and later Rodstein. Shortly after the election, the FBI began interviewing O'Hare, documenting his communications with Steele. For example, in September 2016, Steele admitted to O'Hare his feelings against the then candidate Trump when Steele said he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. This is clear evidence of Steele's bias, was recorded by O'Hare at the time and subsequently in official FBI files, but not reflected in any way of the Page FISA application. During the same time period, O'Hare's wife was employed by Fusion GPS, so no conflict of interest whatsoever, to assist in the cultivation of opposition research on Trump. O'Hare later provided the FBI with all of his wife's opposition research paid for by the DNC, Clinton campaign, and Fusion GPS. The O'Hare's relationship with Steele and Fusion GPS was inexplicably concealed from FISA. This is bad for them. This is bad for the deep state. Yeah. That's just bad for them.
One, the question I suppose I would ask is anyone actually going to go down for this?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? That's the thing that matters.
Yeah, because knowing is only half of it. I mean, we've seen plenty of these scandals coming out, Panama Papers, all the things coming out. I haven't seen anyone actually go to prison for anything.
Yeah, but then we didn't have Trump in power.
Is that, you think that might change anything?
Yeah.
Not to sound cynical, just saying.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. Dude, I legitimately think Trump is an American patriot. And for an American patriot, for having someone go through and corrupt your government institutions, you got to remember, like, this is not just making the Democrats look bad. This is making the FBI and the Central Intelligence Agencies looking bad.
Well, that's been going on before Trump. I mean, look at, PRISM, what came out of the PRISM scandal, Now we know about the Five Eyes Alliance, and what's changed after that?
But with PRISM, for example, right, well, obviously we didn't have Trump in power back then, but also I don't think we had a true American patriot. Like, there's photos of Trump hugging the American flag when he's on stage. I don't think I don't think that is a joke. I don't think that's pandering. I think he literally does love his country. Right. And
yeah, well, there's also video of him kissing a particular wall.
Yeah.
That wasn't patriotic.
Well, no, just because and this is where you and I disagree. Just because you're pro-Israel doesn't mean you're against America.
I think it means you have a partitioned allegiance, maybe?
Not necessarily. If I was to go to Israel to visit the wall, right, which I would like to do at some point, because it is, look, it's part of history, right? It's the Israel wall, right? I would like to see it. And when you're there, you do that. You kiss the wall. You wear the little funny hat. You kiss the wall. It's part of the culture of that area. I am in no way Jewish.
That's me.
Sorry?
I wouldn't do it, but that's just me.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I said, I would do it. I'm not Jewish. I have no Jewish ancestry. I have no ties to Islam or Jews or anything like that, or Judaism. But I would still do it because it's, when in Rome, you do what the Romans do, per se. It's part of their culture. It's part of their history, right? Dude, you know me, man. I'm proud Australian, right?
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, is if, for example, if Trump was to go through and to start leading American troops into a conflict, supporting Israel, and those troops were dying, then that would make me question his allegiance. But at the moment, he's tried to pull out.
With Iran.
Sorry?
Something big is coming up with Iran.
Well, yeah. Iran is interesting.
Now I don't know. This is not a prediction. I'm just guessing. But they've sent over a carrier. It's a 30-year-old carrier. I think it was it's a Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, USS that. That's the name of the ship, I believe. It's like over 30 years old. It's due for decommissioning. And yet it's been sent down into that area, okay, to do with Iran. That boat gets sunk, and then they use it as an excuse to go into Iran. That's my theory.
Yeah.
So that's Trump's little war, like every other president.
Well, okay. So there's a difference. All right. So Trump wanted to pull out of Syria, right? And then Assad magically went and gassed his own people. By the way, information's come out regarding the gas attack. yours truly, including you, were right about that. It was a fake. It was staged. But anyway, we should be actually covering that today, but there's so much news now. But at the end of the day, just because Trump is sending the carrier over there doesn't necessarily mean that he mightn't be playing ball with the deep state until he manages to sweep them all up. If Trump was to go through...
4D chess.
Yeah, if he was to go through and declare war on the deep state right now, do you think he could pull it off?
I don't know. Every other president who's done that was they just passed away early.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they had sudden accidents that involved getting assassinated and stuff like that.
Yeah. And Trump has a family.
Yes.
He has a kid too.
Yeah. So what I think is happening at the moment is that he is playing ball. He's aware of what the deep state's doing. He's not stupid, as much as the mainstream media will like you to believe. He's playing ball with them for the moment. He's letting them go through to, they go through and they suggest all these plans to attack Syria and everything like that. He's doing the option that is the most minimalist that he can do while he goes through and rounds them all up for this. That would be an interesting theory.
Look, I think if Trump goes into Iran and does a war with them, that's it. I think any credibility that Trump is not part of the deep state's over. And the thing is, too, it's really dangerous to go into Iran because I reckon that pulls in China and Russia.
It does.
And then a war like that going into Iran, I think it'll be the first time that bombs actually fall in American soil. That I think that'll be serious. Like they really shouldn't do it.
No. It'll be interesting to find out if Trump manages to pull them back up the 11th hour like he normally does.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. Yeah. The thing is that Netanyahu really wants this war. So, yeah.
And the deep state really wants it.
Can blame that in. Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, we do have a video here. Let's check it out. You won't be able to hear it. It's only 51 seconds, but I'll summarize it for you at the end so you know what it's talking.
I think it's terrible. You want to know the truth? I think it's a disgrace. What's going on in this country, I think it's a disgrace. The memo was sent to Congress. It was declassified. Congress will do whatever they're going to do. But I think it's a disgrace what's happening in our country. And when you look at that, and you see that, and so many other things, what's going on, a lot of people should be ashamed of themselves, and much worse than that. So I sent it over to Congress. They will do what they're going to do. Whatever they do is fine. It was declassified. And let's see what happens. But a lot of people should be ashamed. Thank you very much.
You're not concerned that the FBI doesn't want the memo out?
Thank you very much.
Does it make you more likely to fire Rosenstein? Do you still have confidence in him after reading the memo?
You figure that one out.
That's interesting. She just asked, did you fire Rod Rosenstein because of the memo? I think she just said that. He said you figure that one out.
You figure.
Rosenstein? Do you still have confidence in him after reading the memo? Does it make you more likely to fire Rosenstein? Do you still have confidence in him after reading the memo?
Something about, would you fire Rodstein, or do you have confidence in him, or something like that, she says. So basically in this video, he's calling it a disgrace. He says that he sent the unclassified memo to Congress, and they're going to do with it what they do. But he literally said it was a disgrace about 5 times.
Yeah, it was a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah. Well, it's what
yeah. It's and I like it. I think it's funny when he does it.
Yeah.
They did a terrible, terrible thing.
They were bad. They were very, very bad. All right, bad people. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, this is
miserable. Just miserable.
I don't want to play it up too much, but this is pretty big, guys. This is pretty big. This confirms that the Democrats paid for the FISA, paid for the paid for the Christopher Steele dossier. They then used that fake dossier to go through and to spy on Trump campaign, and did not once disclose the whole time that it was opposition research from the Democratic Party or that they were paid from the DNC. This is bad, and that there should be heads rolling over this. Like,
yeah. There was something that one of the, I don't remember which person it was in the chat who said that, was while we're talking about this unclassified thing, meanwhile there was something horrible happening. Oh man. I have to go back through it. Like, is this a distraction?
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll through it now. More distraction to divert your attention from the rest of the corruption in every country, from the judges to the heads of intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know about that checkpoint. Yeah, I'm still thankful he got elected and still Hillary Rodham Clinton, because I don't think we would have gone through and found half this shit up.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? If Trump is... The chat has been so red-pilled for the last 5 minutes. It's been crazy in there. Oh my God, there's so much of that stuff we cannot say on air. Oh my God. But, I mean, one thing is true, right? Love him or hate him, it was a lot better than getting HRC in. Yeah.
And look, I don't like Trump's foreign policies. I don't. I like his domestic policies. I don't like his foreign policies. I do think at the end of the day that the warmongers that are in position in his cabinet, they're the ones that are calling most of the shots when it comes to sending troops and stuff like that. I think at the end of the day that Trump does... It's not micromanage. What is it when you allow your workers to go through and to... I think he delegates. And I think of a lot of people that he's delegated to deep state. I don't know if he knows the deep state, or if he suspects them and he's just keeping them close by because, you know, friends closer, enemies closer. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I want to see movement on this. Okay, it's good that we got the FISA memo. Fine, it's great, but let's see some actual movement. Let's see people arrested. Let's see people locked up. Let's see people charged. And that's what I want to see. And not some low-level peon. I want to see people like Hillary Clinton, James Clapper, James Comey, all these guys. I want to see them in handcuffs being led away. That's what I want. That would, yeah. Suicide weekend coming up. Yeah.
Now, there was a comment there earlier, right? And this is something that, a theory that I have heard in my circles get thrown around quite a bit, is that Trump is placed there like every other president or whatever. Like, the elections are a front, and you know, Trump was pre-selected to be the president. Like, you know, everything is a dog and pony show. Hillary Clinton, everything around that was all dog and pony show. Everything is just one big circus, and we're meant to think that Trump is on our side while he's doing his wheelies and dealings like every other president. No one is actually elected. It's all a pre-programmed show.
But I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, though.
Do you think elections are real? I mean, are they real? You think?
Some situations they are, but most of them they're not.
Yeah. So if you would think what would stop the American elections from being a dog and pony show, do you think that... Yeah. So
I think Trump... So what I think happened, right? Trump put his hand up to run as president. and they turned around and they laughed and they scoffed and they thought, whatever, right? And they wanted their candidates, their Ted Cruz's and all these sort of guys to run, because they can manipulate them. They can get them to do what they want, the deep state, that is. But here's the thing. Trump beat them all. And then when it came up to, when Trump was knocking them off the patio and he was winning after winning after winning, I think they started getting scared. And that's when they needed we needed a plan. They needed a plan, to in case no, I'm trying to think of the word, but they needed a plan where in case he wins, and this is what this FISA warrant is. It is a backup plan in case Trump does the unthinkable and wins the election. I don't think the deep state wants Trump there. I don't think the deep state ever wanted Trump there, because what's he done wrong in his past? He's banged a few hookers, porn stars, and got himself in and out of debt. Whoop-de-freaking do. Really, has he done anything considered to there's been politicians in the past that have been, that have had bodies in their cars, and the female, a female counterpart, and she was trapped in the car and the car drowned. The girl drowned in the car. I think it was Robert Kennedy who did this. He was driving home, had an accident, passenger in the car was female, the car ran into a dam, he got out, she didn't, and they covered it up, or tried to cover it up.
Yeah, I don't know. If you want to get super conspiratorial about it, you could always say that they're planning this, 20 years in advance. That they're like, who's the next president in 20 years? Oh, it'll be, Donald Trump. So, I don't know. You could get super conspiratorial about it. But, I don't know. A little bit of common sense. Maybe not everything is a conspiracy. And remember another thing. The king of, conspiracies and whatnot, Alex Jones. He's even come out and look, there's people who are going to say, oh, he's bought and paid for now. I don't know. He mentioned that even in his own audience, people have lost their minds.
Yeah.
Over some of this stuff. And
I've seen that
I don't know.
Joe Rogan podcast, yeah.
Yeah, he said that, people have lost their minds. And I've personally lost my mind a bit, thinking that everything is one big conspiracy.
Yeah. It's easy to do when you sit there and you start going through and you start realizing that the government is hiding things, that the government is covering up. Then at the end of the day, it's easy to sit there and think.
And you're probably already well and properly demonetized, so why bother with anything? Look at 9/11. We still don't have any real disclosure around that one, but we know that things were heavily covered up with that. The Pentagon, the part of the Pentagon that was hit, it just so happens that's where some paperwork was about a few $1 billion in black projects to cover up. So it's easy to fall down the rabbit hole. And like Checkpoint says, in the best case scenario, it might be a democratic coup. It's possible. Using the media, let's say that the election's real, but we could use the media to manipulate people to vote a certain way. And then you could do things because the traffic lights are computerized. So you could make it really hard for people to get to certain areas to vote a certain candidate. There's a lot of manipulations you can do. Oh, it just so happens that a train derailed here, or this train just broke down and now no one can get to vote Trump or Hillary at this particular place. There's so many ways you can play the game.
Yeah, you look at the Australian election, for example, we had ScoMo up against, who's the other one again? But at the end of the day, you look at them, they're both establishment. That to me is a
Yeah.
false election. That's what I mean
Oh, the
by
Australian
false.
elections are always a
Yeah.
falsity. I
Like,
agree.
you
I don't
imagine-
think there's anything.
Like, there's a reason why they come out and deliberately slander Pauline Hanson every time she goes to run. We saw it in this
Yeah.
election too. You know, they were even more vicious this time than they were last time. Like, but anyway, we probably should wrap this up because we've been going for half an hour and I've got to upload this clip later. But guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Actually, 40 minutes. Holy dooly. Let us know what your thoughts are on this FISA warrant. Do you think at the end of the day that this is a good thing? Do you think anything will come out of this? Or do you think at the end of the day that this is just going to be another sort of, you know, sort of thing? For some reason, my little raccoon is missing off the screen. Hey, come back. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section.
What's he doing down there?
I have no idea. It's sort of... Ah, there we are. Okay, it's the alignment's come back on now. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, I will jump into the next story.